What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Scott Pilgrim EX. My dear God, honestly, we saw Resident Evil 9, and I'm not actually joking all that much. I really think Scott Pilgrim might have been my game of the show. You're kind of going in, and we've heard so much about Resident Evil, and it's borderline expecting it. And then when they pull at your heart and say it's not going to be there, and then it's there, Scott Pilgrim's just something that, oh my dear God, who could have envisioned that this game would be here? Look, this game I think is going to be so freaking unbelievable, and it takes you back, as it should, to of course 2010, right? Not just the movie, but Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The game came out back in 2010. Of course, the infamous getting delisted, I think 4 years later, back in 2014, and then comes back out, right? I mean, this isn't the first retro beat 'em up. This is an entire genre that existed decades and decades before. But if you know the history a little bit, right? This game to a large extent really brought it back, and I think people that like these type of games, including myself, I love these type of games. We owe a lot to Scott Pilgrim, the original, the 2010 one, because that game really brought it back, and I think that's a phenomenal game. And I really think when Shredder's Revenge came out, when Power Rangers came out last year, and I was building that up in my head so much, and it was a really, really big disappointment when this Marvel game, from the same people, these people are making a Marvel beat 'em up game this year, and then next year is coming out with Scott Pilgrim. When all these games come out, at least the game that I compare it to in the modern age is Scott Pilgrim. So to see it come back and to see the writer, come in and tell this brand new story, and you look at the trailer, not only does it visually look unbelievably fantastic, 7 playable characters, all these quests, there's that one really quick frame where it looks like they're showing these missions, and there's so many of them, but also just kind of being original, right? I love that idea that they're just creating their own new thing, right? And then the trailer itself, when it's talking about these rival gangs, there's something there that kind of reminds you of Scott Pilgrim, but you don't know for sure until you see Ramona, right? And then you're like, oh my God, they're actually doing it. I was blown away. Truthfully, this was, until Resident Evil, and maybe even still, I don't know, I'm a big Resident Evil guy, but I'm also a really big fan of these type of games. They talk about the combos, right, in the trailer, and just how fun it looks. It just looks such a blast. And I don't know, growing up, I didn't play a lot of these games, and maybe that's why too. I have such a strong connection. I think the movie freaking rocks. I have that Smashing Pumpkins shirt that he actually wears in that movie, which I think is cool. But that movie I think is just so freaking good. And then that game, was one of the first type of the style of game that I ever played. And then again, to go through the delisting, and it's it helped bring it back. In my opinion, at least, it helped bring that genre back. And we've had so many good retro style beat 'em ups. I think largely because of Scott Pilgrim. So to see it back and to see it done, by the way, it's not the people who made that 2010 game, but this is the next best thing. Shredder's Revenge, I wish I recorded it so I could have gameplay, but I thought Shredder's Revenge was an excellent game. I played it twice and freaking love it. It's definitely, I think, the best one that I have played since Scott Pilgrim. So to know that they are doing not just the Marvel game, and I think that game, I forgot. People have mentioned that Marvel game's name to me before, and I say, oh, I forgot what that is. That game I think could be really, really special, but this just seems like what they were building up to, this whole time, going back to TMNT. Feels like this was the natural ending point. Obviously, they can continue as a company. I would prefer it. So I don't know, just very passionate about it. Wanted to throw this quick video together, see if you guys share the passion. You let me know in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.